Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, some news on Francisco Vargas. It's always good to hear news on Francisco Vargas and report on it because this guy is, as far as excitement goes, one of the top three most exciting fighters in boxing. He's always in a Fight of the Year candidate. His last fight with Orlando Salido back in June, in the eyes of many, is the Fight of the Year so far. Last year with Takashi Miura on the undercard of Cotto Canelo, that was the Fight of the Year. So Vargas gives great fights after great fight after great fight, and at 130, he's, to me, for the time being, at 130 he is the guy. But with that being said, he's obviously gonna take some time to heal and allow those cuts and those wounds that he experienced in the Salido fight to heal up, so he can get back to fighting at full strength again. Because the Salido fight was one of those fights that doesn't just take years off of your boxing career. It can take years off of your life, and so making sure that you're healing up properly is very, very important. So I have no problem with Vargas doing that. But with that being said, Vargas, following his draw with Salido, the WBC is gonna order him to fight Miguel Roman, who's going to be a mandatory challenger. Roman's solid guy, but obviously not one of the upper echelon guys that people would want to see him fight. But it's just one of those mandatory fights. So obviously there's guys out there, the Jason Sosas of the world, the Lomachenko, the Jose Pedrazas, the guys of that nature. But Vargas actually had something to say about his whole situation right now, so I wanted to read those quotes and dissect the possible matchups. Here's what he said. He said, I quote, "If I have to fight Miguel Roman, then I will fight. But if there are other options that would be better, then I will take them. I say this because I don't think there would be a lot of money in fighting Miguel Roman. I do not know if the fight is attractive to television networks. I would like to do a fight that would be more popular with people. There are many options. Some of them are world champions where I can unify either this year, if I can fight, or next. The doctors told me that my cuts are healing well, but they have not told me anything on whether I can fight this year. I would like to fight in December, but I'm not going to press the issue," which is, it's smart for not to completely press the issue, because, like I said, that fight with Salido was one of those fights where you got to be really smart when you are healing up. So with that being said, we saw the names. We saw Jose Pedraza. We heard there was Pedraza. There was Jason Sosa. There was Lomachenko. And obviously that Salido rematch should still be on the table. And honestly, that's a route he could go. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't go the Salido rematch route, since there was no winner in that fight and the first fight was so good. We would be led to believe that the second fight would be a good fight as well. But if he doesn't go that route, obviously the name that sticks out to me out of all those names is Vasyl Lomachenko, because when we talk about Lomachenko, we're talking about a guy who, if you're making pound for pound list, has to be in your top 5 to 6, just what he's been able to do in boxing, beating the likes of Gary Russell, destroying the likes of Roman Martinez at your first fight at 130. So with that being said, I think Lomachenko and Vargas would be a hell of a fight. Two guys who, if you had make a top 15 pound for pound list, are definitely top 15 pound for pound guys in the sport. Lomachenko's a guy that is arguably the best amateur of all time. He's a guy that's doing unprecedented things as far as moving up in weight and beating very, very named fighters at those weight classes. So to fight Vargas, who many believe, and I myself believe, is the guy at 130, regardless of his loss to Salido, which, could have won to Salido, but still, to me, he's the guy at 130, due to the fact that, he had that great fight with Salido, due to the fact that just last year he did stop Takashi Miura, who is a devastating puncher, and on top of that, was ranked number 4 by Ring Magazine in their ranking system. So, he's fought Salido, who was ranked number 2. He beat Miura, who was number 4. Lomachenko's currently ranked number 3. So, Vargas is one of those old school Mexican warriors that will fight anybody, and he's a Mexican warrior with boxing skill, but he also has that warrior's heart, which I love. He has a little bit of both. So we don't know if he's going to be back in the ring. I wouldn't push for him to come back this year unless he's like 150% sure and 150% healed up, because that fight, man, if you go back and watch it, just the pace they were fighting at for so many rounds, it's just rare in boxing to sustain that kind of pace. So yeah, man, Vargas looking to fight either one of the champions or take this mandatory with Miguel Roman, but he's not sure if that'll be by the end of this year. But we're hearing that if he does come back, it'll be in December. So I would say, realistic time for Vargas to come back would probably be December to February of 2017, or March, anywhere from that. Within that time, but that frame of time, yeah, I would say December 2016 to March 2017, you should see Vargas back in the ring. Personally, I'm not too fond of the Miguel Roman matchup. I'd rather see him go after another one of the champions. But if he wants to take an easier fight, that's completely understandable with the freaking last two fights he just had that were two of the most hellacious fights, and not just 130, but in all boxing. His last two fights with Miura and Salido. So if he wants to take an easier fight that he can win and take less punishment in, he's entitled to that at this point with the last two fights he's had. But as the news, Francisco Vargas looking to get back into the ring and would love a unification bout for his first fight back at 130, which really speaks to the character of him. He has no problem making those fights. So let me know what you guys think. Which one of the champions at 130 would you like to see Francisco Vargas fight? Would it be Lomachenko? Maybe a rematch to Salido, always not a champion. Lomachenko, rematch to Salido. You have a Jezreel Corrales, Jason Sosa, who's not going to be fighting Gervonta Davis anymore, and then and Jose Pedraza. Leave in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.